So, if you've been struggling to come up with business ideas or knowing which one to pick, you're in the right place. I've been helping people start businesses for over 10 years, and this is a training that I provided to my paying clients that paid me several $1,000s to get access to my coaching, and you're going to get it for free. So, in this training, I'm going to talk about the importance of the business idea, how to pick a good one, the qualities you want to look for, and then I go through 10 proven processes to come up with ideas. And so this is a pretty long video. Grab a pen and paper because if you actually want to come up with business ideas, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. Turn off your phone, get distractions away, and you're going to walk through the 10 methods. And at the end of it, hopefully have at least 10 business ideas or at least a couple that you're excited about. Some of these methods to come up with business ideas maybe you've heard before, but some of them I promise you haven't, including the Joey slot machine, which is my own creation. So that'll definitely be at least one new one for you. But this is a workshop. I want you to actually sit down and put in the work. And at the end of it, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. And hopefully you'll have some exciting business ideas at the end that you can then watch the next video on when that comes out. This is going to be a whole series of trainings that I'm releasing in season 2 for you to actually get your first sale. So this is the first step, is let's come up with some ideas, and then I can show you how to filter the ones for what would be best, and then you can see how to pick the target market in the next training when that comes out. But for now, grab a pen and paper, get excited, get ready to put in some work, and let's have some fun together. So enjoy. Welcome to How to Come Up with Great Business Ideas. So let me ask you an important question. Do you want an amazing business idea to start your dream company so you can have an abundance of freedom, fulfillment, income, and impact? Well, if so, you're in the right place. So here's what we'll cover: why having the right business idea is essential, the qualities of a great business idea for you, because different people have different types of businesses that'll make you happy. And so that's why it's important to customize the idea for your unique interests and passions. Then 10 methods to generate business ideas. And this is a workshop, so you'll actually be brainstorming ideas today. So make sure that you have a paper and pencil ready to go. And then finally, your action steps. So you're going to come up with many business ideas today. So get excited for that. And at the end of the training, one of two things will happen. One, you are confident that you found the right business idea and you're ready to go with it, or you're not so sure. So if you're not sure, and especially if you don't have a lot of business knowledge, what I would encourage you to do is to watch a few of the other trainings, such as the business model training, the target market training, the value proposition training, before you make a final decision on your business idea. That way, you're going to get new ideas after each one of those trainings, and you will have more clarity on the kind of business you want to build. So that'll help you kind of narrow down what idea is best for you. And then you can use the process of elimination to pick your single favorite idea. So think of your business idea, your target market, your value proposition, and really everything about your business like dating rather than marriage. Okay, your business is going to evolve over time and you can always change your mind later. It's not like you have to find the perfect business idea that you're going to be married to for the rest of your life, right? That's not how it works. So don't worry about coming up with a perfect business idea. First of all, it's impossible to come up with a perfect business idea. There's no such thing. And you won't really know if you like your business until after you've started it. I mean, you could research for 10 years, start the business, then find out a whole bunch of new things that you didn't expect, right? You just don't know until you actually do it. So have your goal be to start a business that you're pretty happy with as soon as possible so you can see how you like it. The goal is not, let me come up with the perfect idea. It's, let me come up with an idea that I'm pretty happy with, or hopefully really happy with, and then go for it. Because you can always pivot later, but you'll never make any money if you never start. It's better to start an imperfect business today than a perfect business never. Right? That's just the truth. Now, You guys are coming in here with certain beliefs about business, about yourself, about me, and that'll affect your success in life and your success in this training. So, what I'd like you to do is I want to tell you the beliefs that I'd like you to have for the next hour or so as we generate business ideas. And the beliefs are I'm going to come up with a great business idea today. I'm going to come up with several great business ideas today. I'm capable to be a very successful entrepreneur. I have the ability to become a millionaire entrepreneur. I have what it takes to become successful. And if I'm missing something, I'm resourceful enough to get the skills and knowledge and money and time and whatever else I need in order to be successful, or I can find the right people who can help me overcome my weaknesses or my gaps. I want you to just have a very positive, I can do it attitude, because that's the attitude you need for success, especially in entrepreneurship. So if any kind of doubts and fears and yeah, but this, yeah, but that start to creep in, just acknowledge it, kind of pick it up and put it to the side and maybe throw it in the garbage, at least for the next hour. So you can just focus on, hey, I'm going to come up with some great business ideas today that I'm really going to love, that are going to work great for me, that'll allow me to make 6, 7, or even 8 figures over the next few years. That's the mindset and the beliefs and the chatter in your brain. That's what I want you to have. And if there's anything else, then just put it to the side, ignore it, put it in the garbage, at least for the next hour or so. Is that okay? Do you agree with that? Let me hear you say yes. Okay. Do you agree to those rules? Do you agree to think like that? Let me hear you say yes. Okay. So let's talk about the business idea. Qualities of a good business idea. Well, one, you're excited by it. You're genuinely like, hey, I like this idea. That's important because it's going to get you through the tough times. Next, the business idea would help you achieve your purpose and passion. Because if you just start a business for money, you're probably going to burn out before you ever make any money, or at least any significant money. But if you have a business where you're basically living your purpose and your passion, you're never going to burn out. I mean, you enjoy doing it. You're going to do whatever it takes to make sure you achieve that mission in life. And when your purpose and your passion and your mission are all aligned in your business, well, it's not a matter of if you're going to succeed. It's just a matter of when. But if you just start a business for the money, you'll just quit because you have nothing internal driving you forward other than greed or whatever. But that's not powerful enough to overcome the difficulties that entrepreneurs face. Next, there is market demand. You want to make sure that people are going to want to pay money for your product or service, that there's a demand for it. You can currently deliver results for your clients or customers, or you can learn how to and are excited about getting those skills, right? So business is simple. People want a result. They either want to fix a problem or achieve something great. They want to achieve a result. And hopefully you already have the skills to get them to achieve that result. And if not, that's fine. You need to get that skill, and you just want to make sure that you're excited about the idea of like, oh yeah, I would love to become an expert at that. If you're going to start a business where you have to learn a certain skills in order to get great results for your clients and succeed, but you're dreading the idea of having to get those skills, then maybe pick a different business idea or outsource that to somebody else. Ideally you're excited about the skill set that, I mean, ideally you already have the skill set, but if you don't, you need to be excited about getting it. If you're successful, you'd love your life. Too many aspiring entrepreneurs just think, what's a business idea that'll make me a bunch of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of work? I mean, really, that's kind of what a lot of people think. But they never think like, hey, if this business succeeds and I actually do make $1 million with it or whatever their goal is, will I actually be happy? So many people are focused on the cool business idea or the money or whatever. They don't stop to think like, hey, if this actually works out, am I going to have the lifestyle that I want? Am I going to have the company that I want? Will I be happy? So just ask yourself, hey, if this business idea actually is $1 million idea, will I love my life? You have competitors, either direct or indirect, right? Because that means that people are making money in that space. And we can learn from those competitors or partner with them or take advantage of that. And you're riding a trend or you're in a growing industry. That's always nice. I view that as a bonus because a rising tide lifts all boats, as Warren Buffett says. So it's nice if you have that going in your favor rather than being in a declining industry. You can still make money in a declining industry, but it's just harder. Let's look at financial qualities of a good business idea. Low startup costs. There are businesses out there where you have to put in $500,000 before you can even make your first dollar of revenue. Now, if you have that kind of money, awesome, but I like to keep my risk low, so I like low startup costs. Recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is great. Not all businesses have it, but if your business can, I view that as a bonus, but it's a nice bonus. So if you can have some sort of recurring revenue in your business, that's very nice. You can start making money quickly, meaning you can create some sort of product or service, some MVP kind of thing within a few weeks that you can start selling, getting feedback from your market, kind of like the lean startup method, if you're familiar with that. That's a good quality. Rather than taking 2 years to spend a bunch of money and do prototypes and all this kind of stuff before you can start making money. Or on the other one would be, you're trying to sell to the military or something, and it takes 9 months just of paperwork or something. Okay. It's within your or your investor's budget. Obviously, that's important. I mean, ideally, you can start a business for, not much money out of your pocket. But you just want to make sure that if it's not within your budget, can you get an investor or a lender to fill the gap? High profit margin. Again, not a requirement, but a nice bonus. We don't really care about revenue. We care about profit. What can we put in our pocket? And so high profit margin, 40% or higher, 50%, 70%, 80% profit margins are possible depending on the business model. If you're starting a business with a 5% profit margin, even if you turned into $1 million business, you're only netting 50 grand to put in your pocket. I mean, just, you can make more as just a 9 to 5 job if you're only putting 50 grand in your pocket. So profit margin is important. It can become a multi-million-dollar business. I mean, if you're only trying to make 50 grand a year of profit in your business, I mean, what's the point? Why go through all the risk and the hassle? Like, you should try to have some multi-million-dollar aspirations. And a proven business model. We don't want to reinvent the wheel on how to make money, right? There's proven business models out there. Let's just follow a proven path and put our own spin on it rather than trying to come up with some brand new business model that is unproven and would probably take you years to kind of validate and get market acceptance for. I think, if you're going to try to do something totally revolutionary, maybe that might be a good second business rather than a first business. Like, let's get the first business off the ground, have it successful, make sure your money's secure, and then you can do whatever you want. So, some common mistakes when coming up with business ideas. One, they only care about making money. Again, if that's your only motivation, you'll probably quit before you ever make any. You want to make sure you have some reason and a big enough why to keep you moving forward when the times get tough, which they will. It's called entrepreneurship for a reason, right? If it was easy, everyone would do it, as they say. They try to help everyone with everything. Real common mistake. You want to make sure you have like a narrow type of person you're helping and a narrow problem that you're solving. People want specialists, not generalists. Don't try to help everyone with everything. You will appeal to no one if you try to do that. They don't know how they will make money with it, right? This is really common with like techie engineer type people. It's like, hey, I have this really cool invention or this really cool piece of software, this app, it's really awesome. And then a business person says, yeah, that sounds cool. How are you going to make money with it? They're like, I don't know. Right. That's a mistake. You want to know, like, how is this thing actually going to make money? They see no competition and think that's a good thing. It's not a good thing, more than likely, right? You at least want some sort of indirect competitor or at least some proven target market to go after, because if there's no competitors there, there's a good chance that maybe somebody tried that already in the past and it didn't work. Again, yeah, if you want to create some revolutionary new thing where you're breaking into new ground, and sure, maybe that's like going to be a $100 million plus idea at some point in the future, but you're going to have to burn through so much time and money in order to educate the market about what this new thing is, that you better have some deep pockets or some big investors if you're going to go down that road. And I think most people listening to this don't have millions of dollars to invest in educating the market. So let's just go for an idea that already is a proven market. People already know what it is, and we can just put our own spin on it. Really, to versus your competitors, you just have to be different or better, basically, at the end of the day. They focus on a sexy solution rather than the problem. Okay, people are going to pay money to fix a problem. Like if you're just focused on a solution, then you have to go find someone that has that problem, and that's very frustrating. It's better to start with the problem. Find some people who have a problem and solve that, rather than coming up with some sexy new idea and now you have to go find someone who needs it. That's very frustrating. And that also, if you ever hear about companies, especially like tech companies, we have this really cool solution, these really cool features, and then they have to pivot later on. Most of the time, the reason they pivot is because they created this cool solution, but they don't know who ever needed it. So then they go find a target market and ask them what they really wanted. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they build the thing that the customers actually want and need. Well, they could have skipped the whole pivot part if they just would have started, if they just would have focused on people with a problem and just solved it from the beginning. No one cares about the problem they're solving. Okay, that's also a mistake. And they try to create the perfect idea. Again, there's no such thing as a perfect idea. Okay. Things to consider. Personally, like you as a person, as an aspiring entrepreneur, things to consider. How much money do you want to make? I ask this to a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, and I think the most common answer I get is, "Oh, I'm not sure. I've never thought about that." Now's a good time to think about it, because there's a big difference between, hey, I just want to make 100 grand a year and I want to have a $10 million company. Like, that matters in terms of the business model you pick and the infrastructure you need and all, I mean, the marketing strategy, like it matters. And so, like, are you trying to become a billionaire? Do you want to make 200 grand a year and work 20 hours a week? More of like a lifestyle business, or you're building an empire? Like, you need to think about this. How many hours a week do you want to work? Right? Are you going to go full Elon Musk and work 80 hours a week? Do you want to do like Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week kind of thing? Or, what? How many hours do you want to work? Because that's going to affect the kind of business that you should start. Is location independence important to you? Like, do you just want to be a digital nomad and make money from the beach? Or do you want to have a building in your local community where you can hire people from your local community and support it? You want to think about that. Do you want employees? And who do you want your employees to be? Do you want to hire your family? Do you want to hire your friends? Do you want to hire your community? Do you not want to hire your family or your friends? And what are those employees going to do? Like, these are things that are good to think about. What does your typical day look like? What does your typical day look like in your dream future with your dream business? Because again, that's going to affect what kind of business you should start and whether or not you want to have employees and all that kind of stuff. Do you want to build an empire or a part-time lifestyle business? And if you successfully build the business, will you be happy? So these are kinds of things you want to think about when you're trying to figure out what kind of business you should start. Okay. Now you're going to want to revisit this section. So we're going to generate a bunch of business ideas today. Probably going to generate a bunch of business ideas over the next week or so. Um, but after you've narrowed it down to your top, call it 3 to 5 ideas, you're going to want to come back to this section of the presentation because you're going to want to see, hey, these are my top 3 to 5 ideas. Does it have the qualities of a good business idea that Joey talked about? Does it have most of the financial qualities that he talked about? Am I making any of these common mistakes that he talked about? And, these things to consider. So then you can use this section to maybe filter those 3 to 5 down to your top 2 or 3 or your top one. Okay, here's the moment you've been waiting for, generating new business ideas. Okay, those are light bulbs being created because you're going to create so many light bulbs in the next period of time here. But first, let's cover, like, what is a business idea? Well, a business idea, in my opinion, has 3 components. 1, a target market. 2, a problem. And 3, some sort of offer or money-making mechanism, right? Are you selling a product or a service? How much you charging for it? That's kind of like the basic of a business idea. Because, basically the target market has a problem and is willing to pay to fix it. So who are you going to help and what are you going to help them with, right? Let's not overcomplicate what business is. Somebody has a problem, they pay you to fix it. That's essentially what business is at the end of the day. So strategies for generating business ideas. There are over a dozen ways to come up with business ideas, right? We're going to start generating them right now during the presentation. So grab a paper and pencil to get rid of distractions. And you want to get in the mindset. Remember, mindset's very important here of, yes, I'm a brainstorming machine. Let me hear you say this. Repeat after me. Yes, I am a brainstorming machine. Say it with some passion. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, I think I heard you. Okay, great. Now, there are no bad ideas during this exercise. Write down everything. Okay, we're not trying to filter ideas as we come up with them. That destroys the idea generating juices or something. Okay, so just write down every idea that you get. You will eliminate them. You'll eliminate the bad ones later. Just write down all the ideas, even the bad ones. Okay, so we're gonna eliminate them later. All right, strategy number 1. Are you ready for strategy number 1? Okay. So determine your purpose in life and build a business around that. Maybe you already know your purpose in life. If not, this is a good time to think about it. This is great because you will never run out of motivation. If you're living in your purpose, you will never run out of motivation. So again, it's not a matter of if you'll succeed, it's just a matter of when. What are you passionate about? What is your purpose in life? Brainstorm about this and write down your ideas. And for each of these sections here, I'm just going to put 2 minutes on the clock to give you 2 minutes to think about it and brainstorm some ideas here. If you've never thought about your purpose in life before, now's a great time to do it. So 2 minutes starting now. Okay, great. Hopefully that was productive. Strategy number 2, monetize your existing skills and achievements. Perhaps you can do what you do for work just on your own. What have you accomplished that other people want to accomplish? Because you can help them achieve the same thing, and you already have the credibility and the know how because you already did it. Perhaps you could help people get the job that you have, or lose the weight that you lost, or pass a certification that you passed, have the family, have the happy family that you have. You could teach them a skill that you have. You can get paid to answer questions people are already asking you. What have you done in your life that, you've already did it. You know how to do it. You can make money teaching other people and help them achieve the same thing. Are people jealous of, what you have or what you've done? What is easy for you but hard for others? What do other people say you're really good at? What do people already ask your advice about? What are you an expert at? Okay. Brainstorm the answers to these questions and write down your business ideas. We'll put 2 minutes on. Here we go. Very good. Let's move on to strategy number 3. Think of existing companies that you would love to have. Just look around your home or your office and look at all the stuff you've already bought. Or think about all the services you've bought in the past or invested in the past. Or just think about, oh, well, I've never bought from that company, but boy, I'd love to sell what they're selling. Use that as inspiration. What is a company, a consultant or coach, an influencer who you would love to model? Because you can model their marketing, their pricing, their sales process, etc. If there's already a company out there that you want to become, you can kind of reverse engineer what they've already done. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just kind of, I don't want to say steal or copy, but we'll say be inspired by what they do. How about that? Then you just need to be different or better than them in order to stand out, right? Now, easy ways to be different or better than them, or an easy way to differentiate yourself is, one, narrow the target market. If they offer 10 different services to 10 different markets, then you can just offer one service to one of those markets. And then your competitive advantage is like, well, yeah, They do it. You can do the old like you can position them as, oh yeah, they help everyone with everything. That company over there, they help everyone with everything. I only specialize in solving this unique problem for people exactly like you, right? So it's very compelling. Next, provide a higher level of service, right? You probably have more time and care more and have more attention than those other companies, right? So you're going to provide a higher level of service. Like, hey, here's my cell phone. Call me anytime. Or be cheaper since you have lower overhead. I don't love competing on price, but you could. All right, for a business or influencer that you'd like to emulate, you either have the skills already or you should be excited about acquiring those skills. Again, you don't need to have all the skills, but you should be excited about getting those skills. Or let's go down a different path. What company would you like to buy? In the training, I show you in the business model training, I show you how it's possible to buy $1 million company with no money out of your pocket. Pretty cool, right? You see, buying a company is the ultimate shortcut to success because you can already buy an existing $1 million business and that saves you a ton of time and frustration, right? It already has profits, it has proven products, it has existing customers, it has employees that they've already hired and screened and trained. They have systems and processes in place. They already have a reputation and so much more. Like if you're buying $1 million business, they've already probably been around for 10 years. I mean, that saves you 10 years of hard work and figuring things out. They've already figured out a lot of the stuff. You can oftentimes finance 90% of the purchase price with an SBA loan. And for that last 10% of the money, probably get an investor for it, you know? So, what type of existing 6 or 7 figure company would you like to buy? And or what existing business would you like to emulate? Right, there's already all these existing businesses out there. Let's emulate one of your favorites or let's just buy one of them. So, brainstorm these ideas, write it down. We'll put on 2 minutes starting now. Cool, cool. Strategy number 4. And remember, there are no bad ideas, so just write them down. And if we're on a certain strategy and you come up with a totally different idea that's outside of that strategy, write it down anyway. Remember, this is meant to get you in the brainstorming phase. And so any business ideas you come up with during that time, good or bad, write it down. This is just about getting as many ideas as possible on the table. Strategy number 4, pick one of the big 3 categories. Okay, in the internet, basically internet marketing world, or really business in general sometimes, but definitely on selling stuff on the internet, there's 3 big categories. One is health, the second is wealth, and the third is relationships. So just brainstorm businesses in one of these categories and you're probably going to do okay. So health, that could be losing weight, gaining muscle, having more energy, improving your mental health, starting doing some sort of a gym, or selling supplements or sports equipment, or helping people have more happiness, etc., etc., etc. Wealth, make money, save money, start or grow a business, get promoted at work, executive coaching, picking the right career, all those types of things. Relationships, get more dates, save your marriage, spice up boring relationships, make new friends, heal a parent-child relationship, handle workplace bullying, etc. Okay. So how would you like to help people with their health? How would you like to help people with their wealth? And how would you like to help people with their relationships? Go ahead and brainstorm and write down your ideas. And you have about 2 minutes to do so. All right, good job. Strategy number 5, pick the business model first. A lot of times you kind of pick we'll get to that. All right, so you pick the business model first. Then after you pick the business model, you pick your target market and your value proposition. Because the business model is like, what's the mechanism to actually make money? Like, what are you kind of selling? And then you pick the target market and the value prop. So yeah, remember there's no bad ideas. Just write everything down and you can filter and eliminate later. So I'm just going to list kind of the main business models, right? Done for you services. This is like freelancer agency stuff. High ticket coaching or consulting. Running challenges. Selling online courses. Having some sort of low ticket membership site. Apps and software, kind of software as a service, or iPhone apps, or selling your own physical products. Drop shipping. Amazon FBA. Affiliate marketing, where you're basically selling other people's products and services and getting a commission for everyone you sell. Hosting events. Running mastermind groups. Selling personal services, That could be anything from cutting hair to walking dogs to anything else, cooking for people. Brick and mortar, that's like retail stores, restaurants, that kind of stuff. Buy a business, and there's a bunch of other models too. So, which of these business models do you like the best? Come up with business ideas for your favorite business models. So brainstorm and write down your ideas. Go ahead and pick a few of these models and think, well, if I were to pick this business model, I like this business model. What business idea could I do for that? Or like who would the target market and um, basically who's the target market? What problem am I solving for them using this business model? All right. So you got 2 minutes. Go ahead. All right. Very good. You guys are doing a great job. Strategy number 6, pick the target market first. So strategy number 5 is pick the business model first. Now we're going to pick the target market first. Who would you love to work with? So you pick the target market of who you would love to work with. You ask them what their biggest problems are, and then you build a business around helping them solve those problems. You can create the products and services yourself, or you can sell other people's products and services and earn a commission and or buy the products at wholesale and sell them at retail. Right? So you don't have to create all these products and services yourself. Once you find out what your target market's problems are, you can just sell them stuff that already exists. Okay. So ask yourself, who would you love to work with? Who would you just love to work with every day? Okay. Go ahead and think about this. And you got 2 minutes. All right, good job. Strategy number 7. This time, pick the value proposition first, or the problem you're solving. What problem would you love to solve for people or for companies? Pick the problem you would love to become an expert at solving, or problems you are already an expert at solving. Then, find the target market who is suffering from that problem. So, what are the biggest problems you see in the world right now? Follow your emotions. Anytime you or someone else gets angry, sad, frustrated, etc., it's a business opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of people complaining about things in this world. Well, every time you hear a complaint, be like, "Oh, that's a business opportunity." Another thing to think about is what problems are you passionate about helping with for the next decade? Because really, if you're going to start a business, you should have at least a 5 to 10 year time horizon. If you're like, "Oh, I just want to start a business to make a bunch of money over the next year, so then I can go start my real business that I want to start," that never works out. I mean, I don't want to say never, but pretty much almost never. Like, find the business that you want to do for the next 5 to 10 years and do that one. Just go for it. No business is easy to start. So just do the one you really want. All right. So brainstorm and write down your ideas. What problem do you want to solve? And come up with business ideas around that. All right, you got 2 minutes. Very good. Very good. Strategy number 8, social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is basically for profit businesses that do good in the world. So basically, they can help improve people's finances, their relationships, their health, their spirituality, or their mindset. They could save the environment, help the poor, provide education, empower the powerless, give hope to the hopeless, and solve important world problems. So I'm going to list a bunch of problems in the world, and each one of these problems you can create a business around. Okay, so it's about 3 pages of really sad problems that the world faces, but you know you can help solve them and make money doing it. America has a broken education system. Only 8% of people achieve their New Year's resolutions. We have an affordable housing crisis. 32 million Americans have a food allergy, and this number is rapidly rising, especially in children. The fastest growing group of bankruptcy filers are 25 years of age and younger. 78% of US workers are living paycheck to paycheck. 3 in 4 workers are in debt, and more than half think they always will be. 87% of teens say they know little to nothing about managing money. 300 million people around the world have depression. 70% of people don't like their job. Americans are 5% of the world population, but generate 40% of the world's waste. 13 million Americans are misdiagnosed by doctors every year. 50 million Americans suffer from chronic pain. 1.9 billion people are overweight in the world. 60 million Americans suffer from insomnia. Over 90% of new businesses fail within 10 years. 45% of first marriages end in divorce, and 73% of third marriages end in divorce. The average recidivism rate in America is 43%, meaning people who get out of jail go back to jail. Over 500,000 people in the US are homeless. 43 million Americans live in poverty. 20 million Americans need substance abuse treatment each year. 55% of people around the world do not know their purpose in life. 1 out of 4 teens are bullied. Among 15 to 29-year-olds, suicide is the second leading cause of death. 51% of transgender males have attempted suicide. And more military veterans die from suicide than from combat on the battlefield. Very serious problems, and they need a solution. They need an entrepreneur like you to help solve these and to make a good living doing it. Now, even if you don't start a social entrepreneurship company solving one of the problems I just mentioned, you can perhaps incorporate an element of it into your company. For example, the buy one, give one model. Tom's, they donate shoes. Bombas gives socks to homeless shelters. Warby Parker donates glasses. You could do the Robinhood strategy that I came up with. This is basically, let's say you offer some sort of financial literacy program or something. So you charge people, good money who can afford it. And then you give it away for free to people who can't. Right? So take from the rich, give to the poor kind of Robinhood thing. And so you can have the for-profit, like, if people can afford to pay you, then great, take their money. And if someone can't afford to pay you, then, maybe you give your educational video program to them for free or something, or you volunteer your time or something like that. Or you can just give 10% of your profit, to your favorite cause. That's kind of the easiest way, but I'd also say kind of not as impactful as some of the other things you can do, but still better than nothing. So the question is, what social entrepreneurship business ideas can you come up with? What causes would you love to help solve? Brainstorm your ideas and write them down. You got 2 minutes. Good luck. All right, good work. Got 2 strategies left. Strategy number 9, the Joey slot machine. So you're probably wondering, Joey, what is the Joey slot machine? Well, let me tell you, it's a little thing I came up with, and it's a way to kind of get your brain thinking about crazy new things. Okay. So there's 3 parts, right? You know, when you pull the lever of a slot machine, you're trying to get the 3 sevens or the 3 cherries or whatever in order to hit the jackpot. Well, same thing here. You have 3 kind of things. You have an adjective, you have an existing product or service, then you have a target market. And you just kind of pull the thing and create 3 random whatevers. That'll give you some crazy idea, and then you try to think about that idea, come up with ideas, and most of them will be bad, and that's okay. But you might get a few ones along the way. So it's really just kind of like a fun, crazy exercise you can do to come up with new business ideas to kind of get your creative juices flowing. So here we go. All right, I'm gonna just randomly close my eyes and point at the screen, and we'll see what we come up with. And this ought to be fun. Maybe we'll do it a couple times. Wish me luck. This is not pre-planned at all. I'm a little nervous, but I think I'll do good. All right, so adjective, retro. All right, now I have to do a product or service. Let's do a product first. Eeny, meeny, miny. Beauty. Okay, target market, we go with age. So we have a retro beauty. All right, so retro beauty with a certain age. Okay, interesting. What kind of beauty product? Wish I had a more specific beauty product. A hair dryer. First thing that popped in my mind. Age. Teenager. Probably made it more difficult for myself. So a retro hair dryer for teenagers. Now I need to come up with a business idea for this. Okay. A retro. Okay. Retro. So the blow dry bars. I don't go to them, but I hear they're popular. So what if there was like some sort of like nightclub blow dry bar, and girls usually like 80s music, I think, right? So it's like you go there. Well, this is teenagers, so they can't drink. Okay, cool. They can't drink, right? So we're not competing with bars. So picture this, you go into this cool place. It's like 2 rooms. The first room is you get all done up, kind of like Glamour Shots, if any of you guys remember that, if they're still around. So you go in there and you get dressed up. You got some 80s music playing. Maybe you even have like some hairstylists in there that give you a retro look. And then you go in the nightclub area, and you have mocktails, which is no alcohol in them. So you've got like sparkling grape juice or, a strawberry daiquiri with no alcohol in it. And you just party and you dance and you just have a great time. And it's just good, clean fun. Okay. So that's just like a random idea. And maybe, you could charge, I mean, I don't know what you could charge. You charge $50 for the hairstyling per teen and $20 cover to get into the dance party. I mean, that could be a nice little business for you. All right. So that's how it works, right? You just create just random stuff and see what you come up with. All right, let's do one more. We'll do an existing service this time. All right. So what is this? Cuter. So that's our adjective. Service. Hospitality. Target market. Intelligence. A cuter hospitality business where the target market is some level of intelligence. What level of intelligence do we want? High intelligence, smart brainiacs. And hospitality, I don't know, a hotel? So we've got oh man, a cuter hotel for brainiacs. Oh my goodness. A cuter hotel for brainiacs. All right. What business idea can this be? A cuter hotel for brainiacs. Okay. Okay. So hotels, at least when I lived in New York, like hotel bars were hot. All right. Am I going to a bar theme again? I don't even drink that much, but okay. Whatever. That's what I thought of. So hotel bar. No, not going to go with a bar. All right. We're going after brainiac parents. Okay. So brainiac parent, probably an introvert parent, probably doesn't have the best relationship with their kid. Again, I'm stereotyping here. So the hotel caters to them. It's like, I'm a brainiac, introverted dad. I've got an adorable daughter that we just don't really have much to talk about because I'm bad at conversation and communication. And she just wants to play with her dad, but we don't have anything fun to do. So we're going to go on this retreat to this hotel, and it's the cutest hotel ever. It's pink with stuffed animals and unicorns and all the rest. And we're just going to have a daddy daughter fun weekend away at this really fun hotel. And the hotel staff there has great service, provide great hospitality, because not only is the room all decked out in a way that I know my daughter's going to love it, but um, they also have daily parent kid activities that are fun, that'll appeal to both brainiacs and kids, and it's all super cute. Okay. Again, crazy business idea. I don't know if either one of those are good or not. Maybe, but that's not the point. The point is, if you do this activity enough, it's going to get your brain stimulating new ideas. And like I said, most of them aren't probably going to be very good, but that, 1 out of 10 is probably pretty good, right? And then you can take that idea and be like, well, I don't like that idea, but if I tweak it a little bit, then that could be a lot of fun. All right, so that was kind of fun. I never know what's going to happen when I do this activity, but hopefully you kind of see how it works. Should we do one more? No, we don't need to do any more. Okay. Strategy number 9. So now you're going to do it. I forgot about this part. This is the fun part. You're going to now play this Joey slot machine 5 times. Okay. Or as many times as you can. And however, I'll put 3 minutes on the clock this time. So try to do a minute each. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. We're going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I'm going to go back to our previous thing. You're just going to pick 3 random ideas or pick 3 categories, right? And you're just going to come up with 3 new crazy business ideas of whatever whatever happens. Good luck. This should be fun. So we're going to put 3 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to turn back to the back page and come up with 3 ideas. Right? Ready? Oops. Not what I wanted to do. Ready, go. All right, 30 seconds left. You can do this. Great job. Was that fun? Did you come up with anything cool? I hope so. And there's this randomical.com site. Uh, you go there and it picks a random Amazon product. So if you're looking for just a random product creator, you can use that website to kind of get the creative juices flowing for you. Strategy number 10. Are you ready? I think this is the last one. So use your intuition. That's the strategy. Okay. Listen to yourself. What does your gut tell you is the right business idea for you? Turn off your head and use your heart. Okay? So use your heart rather than your brain. Come up with 3 more business ideas right now using this strategy, listening to yourself, your gut, your inner voice, whatever, and write them down. Okay? 2 minutes. Go. Great job. Great job. So, hopefully you have at least 10 ideas written down on the piece of paper. Great work. And remember, yes, you can. So you can come up with great business ideas. You can become a great entrepreneur. You deserve to be successful. You have the time and money to make it happen now, and you can change the world. Right? So repeat after me. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Right? So on the count of 3, let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. That's right. So now your action plan. Look over your business ideas. Okay, hopefully you came up with quite a few. Does one jump out as the right one for you? If so, go for it. Right? Let's not overanalyze this. If you found an idea today and you're like, I love that one, go for it. Okay? But if you aren't sure, Take a few days and marinate on these different ideas. Maybe do some additional research on each one. Watch the other trainings on business models, target market, value proposition. And you know what? Maybe you watch this one again after you've watched those. Come up with additional ideas. Now that you kind of have your brain thinking and maybe you'll be more aware over the next few days of different business ideas, come up with more. And if you want, you can hire me and I'll come up with the ideas for you. Like I'll ask you a bunch of questions and just give you 5 to 10 business ideas on a silver platter, right? Some of you maybe already signed up for that. And if you didn't, you can inquire about kind of how that works and how much it costs and all that. Then once you have your list of ideas, then use process of elimination. Okay, try to use process of elimination to get down to your top 3 to 5 ideas or so. Make a pro and con list for the remaining ideas. Maybe you want to get input from others. Just, be cautious on who you get advice from. Okay. Take what they say with a grain of salt, right? Some of the best business ideas ever, people said like, oh, that's really dumb at the beginning. Okay. I mean, Elon Musk starting a rocket company, all of his successful friends said that's the worst idea ever. Okay. And well, I think that worked out pretty well for him. So take what they say with a grain of salt. Ask yourself, is this person worth listening to? Like, have they accomplished a lot in their life? And again, even if they have, doesn't mean that they're right. But, it's good to get input from others. Just, don't necessarily listen to it all the time. Okay. Set a deadline right now for when you're going to pick your idea. Because if you're like, oh, I'll pick my idea eventually, 10 years could go by before you finally do. Now, why do I say that? Because that happened to me. It took me I was like, oh, I want to start a business. So I started looking at ideas. I was reading all these books and generating all these ideas and blah, 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 blah. Didn't finally start a business until 10 years later. Goes by fast, folks. Okay. So if you don't want to wake up 10 years from today and be like, oh, it took me 10 years and I still haven't started a business yet. Set a deadline now for when you're going to pick your idea. I suggest 2 to 3 weeks from today. So pull out your phone, set a reminder, put an alarm on it and say, hey, on this date, I will have picked my business idea. Do it right now. Get out your phone, pull it up on your computer, whatever. Set a date. When are you going to pick your idea? And then stick to that. Pick an imperfect idea and go with it, because you can always pivot later if you don't like it. But again, if you never start, you're never going to make any money. So just start with an imperfect idea. And good luck. All right. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you got a lot of good ideas from it. Really, remember, you only need one. You only need one idea to start. Okay. You can always do more later if you want, but let's get that first company off the ground. Let's go for it. Give it your all. Remember, be confident. You can do anything that you put your mind to. All right. So this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much and good luck.